doing anything creative, graphic design or calligraphy or music or singing. It almost felt like I didn't know who I was without those things. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Good Life, and today we are doing a reaction to BTS's Black Swan that just came out. It came out this morning. I'm on the West Coast. It came out at 1 a.m. this morning. I recorded my reaction, but this is kind of my thoughts afterwards. I will play you guys the reaction. I didn't say much last night only because it was 1 a.m. when it came out, and I watched it a few times. I recorded the first time. The first time I watched it is my actual reaction. I feel like I couldn't really say much only because it was 1 a.m. in the morning. I don't want to scream or squeal because it was 1 a.m. My kids and my husband were sleeping. You would just see me quietly watching this video. My first thoughts and reaction, I knew that the video was going to be an art film by a dance company. I thought that was going to be very interesting for their first single off the album, and I feel like this single definitely set the precedent for the rest of the album. Yeah, I'm super excited. When I first watched the video, you can see my reaction. You just like, the first time I watched it, I just wanted to try to pay attention to the actual video and not the lyrics. I mean, I had the lyrics up, but I wish I didn't because I was trying to like do both, and I just couldn't. I watched it a few times, and the first time around, I'm usually not the biggest fan, or I haven't been the biggest fan of contemporary dance, but I like that contemporary dance tells a story through, obviously, their interpretive dance. So I appreciated that, and I thought it was super cool and interesting the way it was interpreted by the dance company. The main guy, the Swan, I guess you could say, to be honest, the part where he like slaps his back, it almost freaked me out a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, is this gonna be like a creepy type thriller horror thing? I mean, the movie has that tone. The movie Black Swan has that tone. I don't know what I was expecting. I kept watching, and in the music video, you just see this struggle of trying to get away from your shadows, and like the push and the pull of things like that. The main guy, the dancer, I loved his performance. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of contemporary dance or art or contemporary dance, but I really loved his interpretation of the song. His performance was really, I don't know how to explain it. It was eerie, really eerie and haunting. There were times where he would just like move like his back and his shoulders, and I was just like, woo! Like, it just gave me like eerie vibes for some reason. I feel like it was going to manifest or something. That's the vibe it gave me. The song wise, I really enjoyed this version. I know there are two different versions. This like music video one, and then the one on Spotify, which the one on Spotify doesn't have all this, like the swells of the strings and the orchestra. I'm a sucker for strings and orchestral music, and I feel like music plays a vital part in movies. For this contemporary art film, I think it did a great job in trying to convey its message. Even though some people are haters, like, I get it. Like, it's your opinion. You can like or dislike, whatever. I really enjoyed both songs, the music video and the one on Spotify, the one that's released on Spotify. The one on Spotify, you can hear the song a little bit better, and then the one on the music video, that one, the song is there, but I feel like I don't want to say like the song doesn't matter or the lyrics doesn't matter, because it does. It obviously plays a huge role, but I feel like just that version with like the arrangement of the strings and things like that, it just plays a more vital role to the actual dance and the choreography, if that makes sense. I like both. my husband likes the Spotify version because he's like, I can hear the beat and the like drops and stuff. I'm like, okay. And I swear, like I'm reading everywhere and people are like, oh, it's so auto-tuned and blah blah blah. Okay, that's fine. Like if you don't like auto-tune, you don't like auto-tune, whatever. I don't mind auto-tune. I actually like it. And people swear like Man isn't auto-tune. Don't hate me. It's just I like the auto-tune. I don't mind for it. But the only thing is, this is the first song that I couldn't distinguish like who was who. Obviously I could distinguish rap line, and Jimin's voice, like his voice is very distinct, so I could tell from his. It was hard to tell V, Jungkook, and Jin. I feel like those were the hardest for me to distinguish from the song, so I had to go online and look it up for the color-coded ones. But then on Twitter, the girl that I follow, I think it's a girl, the person that I follow on Twitter, she or he posted something. I think it's just a translation of the song, like the meaning behind it. And in the beginning, in the music video, you see a quote. It says, "A dancer dies twice, once when they stop dancing, and this first death is more painful." I definitely like related to this. I'm not a dancer myself, but I guess I'm more on the creative side. I've done like graphic design, I do hand lettering and calligraphy. I don't paint, I can't draw. So I don't do that kind of art form. I also sing. I know 5 or 6 chords on the guitar. Like it'll get, like if I needed to play something, I can get through it. I just related to this so much because like sometimes when it doesn't have to be like creative in terms of like music or art. It could be anything. It could be like part of your career, like whatever your career is. Maybe you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, I don't know, a teacher, I don't know, something. And it's just something that you've been working towards and something that you've like given your heart and your soul into. For me, sometimes it comes to a point where like what happens when it all goes away? What happens when what I'm doing, like what I'm creating, it's just, I don't know what's the word or how to phrase it correctly. It's just like you're not able to do it anymore, or you're tired of doing it. I think I'm just repeating myself. Sorry guys. I'm just gonna talk a little bit about my experience as a graphic designer and as someone who does calligraphy and hand lettering. Last year, around March, April, I was doing a lot of stuff. Well, in the past years, I've been doing a lot of stuff in terms of graphic design and hand lettering and calligraphy. It just came to a point where I just didn't love it anymore. It was basically like a death. Which is really sad to say because obviously I still love graphic design and I love hand lettering and calligraphy. It just came to a point where I don't think I could do it anymore because I didn't love it. What was I talking about? Just talking about like my experience as like a person who does this. And obviously in this song, BTS is talking about performing and, you know, the ability to create music. Like what happens when like your music fails and doesn't excite you anymore. So that's the struggle that I've always had, because especially with like creative things like graphic design and calligraphy, I kept trying to push myself to be better. And for me, I'm an Enneagram 1, if you guys know what that is. You guys can look it up, Enneagram, and I'm an Enneagram 1. I'm a perfectionist. And like if it's not perfect or if I mess up, I'm my own harsh just like critic, and or my own worst critic too, which is good and bad. Like obviously you want to be able to push yourself, create new things and different things. Gosh, I feel like I keep losing my train of thought. Just my experience, giving up, I don't want to say if I gave up, but like I stopped pursuing graphic design. I stopped pursuing anything creative for a while, which is almost like a death. And without that, okay, I remember what I was gonna say now. Okay, without doing anything creative graphic design or calligraphy or music or singing, it almost felt like I didn't know who I was without those things. It was my identity. And then after that, I had to find out who I am, like, without all of that. It's been like almost a year since I've done anything creative, graphic design, or calligraphy. I'm slowly getting back into calligraphy and hand lettering. I am holding off on graphic design just because it still kind of scares me a little bit. Like I said, I am my own harshest critic, and I'm always like, am I even good enough to do this? Like, there are other people that are better than me. I don't know if I could do this. So those are still thoughts that linger in my mind when it comes to graphic designs. I'm slowly getting back into some creative kind of art form, and with like the kind of like gap rest from graphic design, calligraphy, hand lettering, I've been able to discover other things that I have really liked or didn't know I liked, but I do. I'm a huge sucker for TV and film, so my brothers and I started a podcast and we review films and talk about them. So that's been a lot of fun. And my brothers and I are also thinking about doing screenwriting, which is super fun because I love stories, and I love stories that people can relate to and that people can, connect to. Anyway, so those are kind of like new creative mediums that I've been able to discover during, I guess, kind of like my death of graphic design and calligraphy. Yeah, to be honest, it was really hard to give it up and say no. I'm always a yes person. If people ask me to do something, even though I might have like a bunch of things on my plate, I will still say yes to people. It's definitely super hard, and at times people still ask me and I'm just like, oh, I have to like pick my battles, like what do I want to do, and like, is this really worth it? Because sometimes it's not. But anyways, I hope you guys liked my ramble on this, and they just announced that they're going to be on James Corden at the end of the month. So I applied for 2 tickets for the James Corden on the 28th in LA. I live about 10 hours away from LA. I could fly, which would only be like an hour or so if I fly out from Sacramento, but my husband also is going to Hawaii on the 28th for 3 days. And if I get it, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I might go to LA. But the thing is, on the 31st, I'm also driving down to Sacramento again. And on the 1st of February, I am flying out to LA again because I'm going to a concert in San Diego. So if I get tickets, it'll be hella crazy. Like, that week would be so crazy because I'd probably drive down Monday, drop my kids off with grandparents, drive down to LA, go to the show, drive back by myself. Unless I fly, I don't know. I think it'd just be too crazy. I mean, if I drive, it'll be 8-ish hours from Sacramento. No, is it 8? Let me see. I think I'm getting my travel time wrong. Okay, from Sacramento to... Wow, I'm so dumb. Sacramento, LA, it's only 6 hours. But if from where I live, it is 8.5 hours. I would have to drive 2.5 hours down to Sacramento and then drive another 6 hours to LA and then drive back to LA. Oh my God, it would be crazy, but I don't know. We'll see if I even get it. As soon as the tweet came out, I went and I got tickets, and we'll see if I get it. If I do, I think I'm gonna go. I'm crazy, I know. Hopefully you guys got something out of this reaction. I will see you guys next time. Bye.